Hi everyone, welcome to Real Science Challenge. I'm Kent Louie, science teacher and talking head, broadcasting from beautiful Vancouver, Canada. Now last episode, I was answering the question, can students fail in SBG or SBA, which was brought up at a workshop I did on SBA, which stands for Standards-Based Assessment or Standards-Based Grading, I gave a couple weeks ago. Now, if you haven't checked out that video, I'll include the link below. Today, I want to discuss another popular misconception that came up in our discussions with regards to how we assess science skills or practices. I labeled this misconception the one and done myth. And I'll dive a little deeper into what that means. But before I do so, handouts for this episode can be found at realsciencechallenge.com/EP50, that's 50. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. A quick refresher, in the BC Science curriculum, we use proficiency scales, starting from emerging and then developing and then proficient and extending, and standards-based assessment to assess 6 curricular skills, also known as competencies, like questioning, predicting, planning, conducting experiments, and communicating. Now, this is equivalent to the science and engineering skills included in the NGSS, or Next Generation Science Standards. Now, the misconception of one and done comes from the idea that if a student achieves proficient on a science skill, on one assignment, just one time, then the student should be proficient for that skill for the rest of the year. So they can skip the rest of the assignments for that skill. They're done. They're one and done. However, the one and done myth is not true because a student is only considered proficient or extending if they can consistently demonstrate that ability. And note, the key word is consistent. For example, let's say a student's assessment summary shows this for the skill of questioning and predicting, like writing hypotheses and asking questions, which was assessed in the chemistry unit. Now, even though the student scored proficient on the very first chemistry assignment, the rest of the assignments show developing. So the student is developing for this skill. In other words, we're taking the most consistent mark and not the highest mark. Also, it's also helpful to see the type of assignment the student got proficient in. For example, the student scored proficient in an assignment, but the student scored developing on a quiz question and developing again on a quiz question, which may be more representative of the student's ability, because on a quiz, a student has to answer the question without help from others. Now, with regards to a final assessment or overall proficiency, a colleague of mine, shout out to Tanya Varani, suggests looking at the proficiencies across units. Now, this addresses the argument that some science areas are more difficult than others. Thus, if we look at the same skill assessed in different content areas, we can get a clearer picture of the ability of that student. So in this case, the student is extending in question predicting because, as you can see, they're able to do this consistently across different content areas, proficient in chemistry, extending in biology and physics for that skill. Note, there might be other things that go into determining a student's proficiency, like perhaps there's an upward trend in the student's performance, which would make me consider the more recent assessments as opposed to the earlier ones. Now that's it for this episode. Please smash the like or subscribe button or leave a comment below, and handouts once again are realsciencechallenge.com/EP50. Thanks for watching, and let's talk science education again soon.